Welcome to New Mexico Black Rifle Operators Union. I'm your host, Sean. So this weekend, John Wick dropped John Wick 4, and I will try to keep spoilers to a minimum, but as I'm talking, there will possibly be some spoilers. John Wick is my hero. I love the movie series. I'm very excited for John Wick 4. We get to meet some new characters and a lot of body count. What is surprising, though, is there are not that many guns. There are only 10 guns in John Wick 4. And let's start with the first one. The first one is the Pit Viper. So this is a 2011 made by, I think it's TTI. Terran Tactical is the one that's making it all awesome, but it's actually another company's. Let me find it for you. It's a Terran Tactical Special, but it's a type of pistol that was specific to a company. And I'm trying to remember who it is. John Wick 4. So the big deal is that it has a special extractor. It's got an extended mag well. It's got a different cut to the front of it to be used. It is used in that. It's got a single hole comp for the front, and it's a 9mm, and it retails for $7,000. As all John Wick's cool toys, they are definitely not for your average end user. The next ones are a heck of a lot more price right. So it's a long slide Glock 17. They also have a regular Glock 17. There's several Glock 17s in there that make the mix. There's also a Terran Tactical kitted out version of the Glock 17 long slide. As you can see, both, I actually prefer the Terran Tactical one as far as aesthetics. It's got the trigger job that you would want, and it's got the lightning cuts on the slide. That makes it for an interesting looking gun. The next gun, I think that was interesting, which I didn't expect to see, is actually the Marlin 1894, 44 Magnum. So there's a character in this called Tracker, and he carries a 1894 44 lever action, and he uses it in the movie. And it's kind of tacti-cooled out because it's got M-LOK slots up front, and it's kept in a very short configuration. He doesn't use optics on it, nor does he use a foregrip, nor does he use any of the things you would want to put up front. So I don't know why there's M-LOK on it other than to make it look tacti-cool. It's got a muzzle device on it. This is a 44 Magnum in the movie. The other one that was surprising to see was actually the Smith & Wesson 500. There's a big character in this who's actually kind of an action hero or an action character. He speaks German, or he's a German character in this movie, and he's very fat. So why wouldn't he have a 500 Smith & Wesson? So he's got the 500 Smith & Wesson. What was actually surprising more than anything was that there wasn't that many rifles or long guns. What you actually saw was the Darkrai or Carry 12 gauge that's in the form factor of an AR-15. Now, the army that shows up in multiple scenes, the High Tables Army, they're carrying this, and it is a 12 gauge. They are using a metric butt ton of Dragon's Breath. Now, if you don't know what Dragon's Breath is, it will shoot a flame about 100 feet, but it has 6 double-up buck pellets in with it. So it makes for a great screen effect. In reality, I don't know that I want to burn anyone this bad because it's basically like shooting a flare at someone. But they were using this, and it wasn't just the army that was using this. There was an army of people hunting Wick that were using these. And they got, needless to say, Wick gets one of these in his classic scenes where he switches guns up from a pistol that ran dry to one of these. And he uses it to great effect and it has got some great cinematic scenes where people get hit with with dragon's breath. I feel sorry for the stuntmen that had to portray this because it had to burn, and I know that they had to do a lot of testing and treating to make sure that this would work right in the scene. It does. It comes off very well. There is a shit ton, and I mean a shit ton, of actual scenes where he's just fighting. The body count in John Wick 4 is massive, and it's befitting of the character. Now, I can tell you that I was saddened, and I'll leave it at that because I think I've already given enough away about the characters. Let's just say there probably won't be another John Wick, and if they do, they're handing it off to someone else. John Wick is amazing. He's inspired a couple of things. One was getting back to the gospel of violence for myself, so I started training again this weekend. I've been training on and off, but now that I've got my head a little more focused about where I'm going with my business and what I'm doing to get it off the ground, and setting the schedules for that type of stuff, I have decided that I was going to start making it back to what I used to do and love during the COVID stuff, which was training. So I was inspired by a visit by a friend this weekend, and I got out off my ass and went out and ran 75 meters and engaged a target with a 12 gauge and with an AR-15 and with a 9mm. The 12 gauge is new. I've not ran it in my drills before. I usually run 75 meters, engage a pistol target at 25 meters, shoot at a secondary target at 25 meters, usually use it for rifle or pistol or shotgun in this case. And then at 100 meters, I have two targets set up with just paper, and this is all paper, cardboard, for my rifle targets. And they're set up at different staggered intervals, kind of to try to mimic a scenario is the best way I could put it. Now, why do I run 75 meters? Well, I'm a big, fat dude. Getting me to run 75 meters is a thing, but it also gets your heart rate up enough and puts some stress on you as you're shooting, and it makes you very aware of the biological parts of your body you need to keep a hold of. How to breathe while you're running, how to breathe after you've ran and how you're engaging targets, because you're usually trying to hold your breath or trying to hold your rhythm so that you can hit the target. And after not doing it for about a year, I definitely got a benchmark. Let's put that of where I want to go and what I want to do. The idea is, this comes from Sonny Pazukis, his Gospel of Violence, where he says, run 75 meters, then engage in an activity with firearms and see how well you do. And the results are astounding because most people, unless they're running or they're going through a 3-gun match, and even at a 3-gun match, they're more so time stressed than actual physical stress. This puts some physical stress on you in a method that you can control that allows you to see where your training scars are, where you need improvement. The process of training is humbling, and it's meant to be that way so that you know that you're not a complete badass. And then it lets you understand that some of those dream thoughts you had of being able to just pick up ammunition off of people because you're going to just wipe the floor with them are kind of not necessarily a thing. You want to run, you want to be efficient, and you want to be able to hit targets. Now, I have friends who have done amazing things with their physical strength lately. I have a listener who listens enough, who has been posting pictures of his journey as he goes to the gym, which also has been inspiring me to get back off my butt and do something for myself. Having to sit tight for a while the government does its thing so I can finish up the last bit. It's more so because I've partnered, I think, than anything else, or that they've partnered with me, so there's some more government crap that they have to do to make sure we're both on the up and up before I can start with that business. But man, was John Wick cool. And I didn't do it, but I heard it after the fact. There is a post-credit scene. I didn't stay for the post-credit scene mostly because I was down. And you can guess why, because of what I've said. I have an attachment to the movies because I see a lot of cool in Wick, and I have some of my own little fantasies. I think that I could actually do some of the stuff that Wick does. I think I would be a better sommelier, like in John Wick 2, than I would be a fighter. However, I think it would be amazing to be in any of the Wick movies. Just they've had fat dudes in Wick to show off, that I guess it's their way of integrating the woke culture. They've had sumo wrestlers. They have some in this one. They've also had bigger dudes. The dude with the Smith & Wesson, he is definitely wearing a fat suit, is all I got to say. After I saw who the character was and got to see him without his makeup, because he's wearing a shit ton of makeup in this movie. But the fight scene between him and Wick is epic. And a lot of the stuff Wick does is just judo and jiu-jitsu. If you've ever trained in a gym and you've ever went to a judo or jiu-jitsu gym, you kind of see those things. There's a lot of speed and agility and flexibility you need to perpetrate those moves. As you get older, you don't have those as much. So you'd want to try to not have to get into that type of fight. Like, share, subscribe, be great.